Hi, I'm Jason Houtsma, guitar instructor for worshipartistry.com. In this YouTube video, we're going to be taking a look at that whole rhythm section for I Am They's King of Love. It's a beautiful song, kind of really tricky finger picking. We're going to work through all that. If you want the full lesson along with a music video that you can zoom in on the parts, practice loops, tabs, chord charts, electric guitar, bass, drums, keys, everything you need to play this song, I highly suggest clicking that W in your lower right-hand corner. That'll take you over to the lesson. You can sign up for free and get the whole thing. But if you just want to stay on YouTube, let's dive in. All right, let's start with the easy part. We have a nice, simple 16th note strum pattern that's going to sound like this. It's just down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Which feels more like an 8th note pattern, but the way it's counted, it's 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And we just... when we're cruising through there, we're really trucking. The trickier part is this whole picking thing. So we have a basic root pattern, and then we have all these variations within it. So let me play it for you first so you can hear the whole section, and then we'll break it down piece by piece. It's going to sound like this. Now, as we work our way through, we'll start with kind of the root idea and then build all those riffs around it because it really follows the melody of the song. So our intro is going to be like this. Ring finger is going to be on that 3rd fret of the B, middle finger on the 3rd of the E. You can have this root position, which is it's going to sound like this. So it's kind of that root pattern. That ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B, thumb on the E string. And then our pointer will be plucking our D and middle finger on the G. And it's going to really help if you have tabs up in the sheet music section down below for this, because as we work our way through, it's kind of a tricky part. So once again, here's how it's going to sound, just that first root pattern. So that's thumb and ring together, 1 E and a. So on the and, we're plucking the D, ring finger to the B. 1 E and a, 2 E and. So we follow up, just running up those. So once again. And that's the overall feel. And then we work in all these different riffs. So the first one is on that intro. It's like this. So what we're doing is our changes are happening working down to our 1st fret of our B, open B, and then back to that ring finger. And we kind of slow down our actual finger picking, so it goes. So instead of the first time coming up to that G, we actually go right to the open B. And then we're going to go. So we pluck our bass note and our pointer finger on that B once together. Open up the B, and then back to the ring finger. So, and then we follow up on the and on the D and G. So, once again. So the whole section. Then we follow it. So that's the whole rhythm section, or that whole intro. So one more time, that intro is like this, nice and slow. And that intro will just repeat. So I have a loop down below of just the intro on its own. Now let's take a look at the rest of the verse as we work our way through. So the verse starts the same as the intro. And we want to follow the goodness faileth. So the way that we do that is we stay on that G, the G, but now we're going to pluck the E and the G together. And we switch up our pattern a little bit so that we get on the that B there. So once again, it's those two together, your E and your G. So together, D, G, E, D, B. And then on the never, we play those two together, and then into our D chord. And that's the same pattern as our rhythm there, but it's because we're squished, we have to pluck our thumb is on the D, plucking the middle finger on the B, and we're just going all in a row. Pointer, middle, thumb, pointer, middle. So once again, and we're back to our original riff. And then we walk up with an E minor. We do a similar thing like we did on that last G, where we're plucking our E in the bass, G is open, so we're plucking those two together, D, G, E, D, open B. Then we go to our D over F sharp, which is really just holding these. We don't need to put our ring finger down there because we're just plucking our second fret of our E, middle finger at the same time, fill in with that D, and then finish with our G chord. And that, we're plucking, same idea. Now you'll notice the ring finger is not down. So we're plucking those two together. D, B, E, D, G. So all together, it's going to sound like this. So you might notice I did a little bit of switching. Sometimes I would go to my pointer and middle on the D and G. Sometimes I'd go to my middle pointer, kind of reverse them. The main thing is that you're catching all those melodic notes, and then how you fill in with the rest of it. I've put the tabs down below and I've given you the loops to work across, but the main thing is that you just sit in that groove and catch those melodic notes. So what I've given you below is I've given you loops in 3 speeds of both just the intro by itself as well as the whole verse. And then I've also given you loops, of course, of the strum pattern. I also tabbed out the full verse. The intro is just the same thing. The intro is the same part as the beginning of the verse, so I didn't separate those. So the whole verse is the tabs. Go ahead and give that a shot. Really work with it nice and slow, and build up to speed. And then, like I said, you can get a little creative with it. Once you've got that, let's take a look at the walkthrough.